The wind bit at her skin as she crouched near the trash can, her thin hoodie no match for the cold. The city lights blurred through her tears as she stared at the leather wallet lying on the wet pavement. Her hands trembled as she picked it up. Soft, heavy, expensive. Inside was a thick wad of cash, cards, and a photograph of a smiling man with a little boy on his shoulders. For a moment she froze. That man, she'd seen him before, on billboards, in newspapers. David Grayson, one of the richest men in the city. Her stomach twisted as she looked at the cash again. She hadn't eaten properly in 2 days. She could buy a warm meal, a blanket, maybe even a night in a cheap motel. But something inside her, that tiny, stubborn spark her mama had planted, whispered, "Do the right thing, Maya." She bit her lip, clutching the wallet to her chest as if it were both a curse and a gift. The next morning, she stood in front of a towering glass building, her reflection faintly visible in the doors she was too afraid to walk through. A security guard spotted her and frowned. "You can't be here." I just need to return this," she stammered, holding out the wallet. If this story moves you even a little, please take a second to like and subscribe. It helps us share more stories of hope and humanity like this one. The man's face softened. He took it carefully, eyes widening when he saw the initials embossed in gold. Within minutes, she was escorted inside the building she'd only ever dreamed of entering. Everything gleamed, marble floors, crystal lights. And she suddenly felt smaller than ever, her shoes soaked, hair tangled, and hands shaking from hunger. The elevator doors opened to a spacious office with floor-to-ceiling windows. Behind a massive desk sat him, David Grayson. His sharp gray suit and calm demeanor radiated power. When his eyes met hers, something in his expression shifted. "You found this?" he asked quietly. She nodded, voice small. "Yes, sir. I saw it near 3rd Street. Thought it was just some wallet. But then I saw your ID inside." David opened it, scanning the contents. "Everything's still here?" "Yes, sir. I didn't touch anything." He studied her for a long moment, his gaze softening. "You could have kept it. There's a lot of money in here. I wanted to," she admitted, her throat tightening. "But my mama always said, even when life takes everything from you, don't lose yourself." He leaned back, visibly moved. The room fell silent except for the hum of the city below. David stood and approached her slowly. "What's your name?" "Maya, Maya," he repeated softly as if testing the sound. "How old are you?" 22. He looked her over, the torn hoodie, the faint bruises on her hands. "You're homeless?" She nodded once. "Been on the street since my mom passed. I tried getting work, but people don't really want to hire someone who looks like me." His eyes softened further. "Like you?" She hesitated. Broke, black, tired. David didn't speak for a long time. Instead, he reached into his drawer and pulled out something, a small folded paper. "You know," he said quietly, "I wasn't always this man in this office. I grew up not far from where you found that wallet. My mother cleaned houses." "I know what it's like to be hungry, Maya." Tears welled up in her eyes. "Then why'd you stop going back?" "People out there. They need someone to remember them." Her words hit him like a stone. He blinked, looking at the city skyline, the same streets that once shaped him. "Maybe I forgot," he murmured. "But you just reminded me." He walked over to her and placed a check in her hand. She tried to refuse, but he shook his head. "It's not charity. It's gratitude. You could have stolen from me, but instead you gave me something I lost long ago. Perspective." She looked at the paper, stunned. This is too much." "It's enough to get you a fresh start," he said. "And if you're willing, I'd like you to come work here. We run a foundation for youth outreach, and I think you'd fit right in." Maya couldn't stop the tears streaming down her cheeks. You'd really do that?" "I should have done it years ago," he replied softly. "You just reminded me why I started any of this." Weeks passed. Maya's life transformed. She had a warm bed, new clothes, and something she hadn't felt in years, belonging. Every morning she'd walk through those same glass doors, not as a stranger, but as someone who mattered. One afternoon, as she helped coordinate a charity event, David came by and smiled. "You know, Maya," he said, "you returning that wallet did more than return my money. You gave me my heart back." She smiled through tears. "And you gave me a chance, sir. Guess we both found what we lost. The story of the billionaire and the homeless girl spread online like wildfire. Not because it was about wealth or generosity, but because it was about choice. About how a single act of honesty could turn two broken lives into one shared story of redemption." Maya often stood by the window of her small new apartment, gazing at the city lights below, whispering to herself, "Mama, I did it. I didn't lose myself." And somewhere in his penthouse across the city, David Grayson looked at that same photograph in his wallet, not as a reminder of success, but as a symbol of the humanity he almost forgot.